So, Ana, you had said earlier, comment about education, that people can choose to send their kids elsewhere. We are an organization that firmly believes in education choice, and we've got a lot of kids in this state and others that are sentenced to underperforming schools solely by virtue of their zip code. We tell families in this Commonwealth, that's your school. We would never tell them that's your supermarket, that's your doctor, that's your dentist, you get to choose. And a lot of that, to be blunt, is because of the collective bargaining agreements with tenured teachers and how much you pay. Can we really get to educational choice? Because a lot of these parents can't afford to send their kids somewhere else. Can we really get to that real education choice given the current state of collective bargaining in this Commonwealth and in this country?
Unpopular with this group, and that's totally fine. The best education in the world currently takes place in Finland. They have the top education model, and they have completely banned private education. I would do the same.
Okay, so first of all, Finland is not the...
Okay. Got to interrupt here for a little bit because these progressives, these elites, banning private education and just do public education, and let's do something that Finland does. Let's do something that's being done in other countries that have got populations that are millions and millions of people less than the United States of America. We got 330 million people. Finland, Norway, these countries, combined have got populations that are right in the tens of millions. And we're supposed to follow them because they have a model, one size fits all. And the other question I'd like to ask is, why is it that all the elites, all the progressives, all the woke social justice warriors, why do they send their children to private schools instead of public schools? Just asking, Ana, just asking. Anyways, let's get to Ben's reaction.
The United States, and there's a frequent attempt that it does happen a lot, where people will take something that has worked in Sweden or something that's worked in Norway or something that's worked in Finland. They'll say, what if we just take that, import it here, and it'll work exactly the same way? And it typically does not work. The fact is that Finnish Americans make more money in the United States than they do in Finland, for example. They have longer life expectancies in the United States than they do in Finland. This is true of Swedish Americans, it's true of Nordic Americans.
Life expectancy in Finland is much higher than the United States.
No, you're correct. Hold on.
It's only 78 years.
No,
which is, by the way, comparable to Cuba. 78 years.
Hold on a second. You're correct. The life expectancy in Finland is longer than the life expectancy in the United States. That's not what I said. I said the life expectancy for Finnish Americans is longer in the United States. That is an apples to apples comparison as opposed to comparing completely different populations, and that's kind of my point. Okay, the fact is that the United States has an incredibly diverse population, and that diverse population encompasses an enormous number of people who have very different beliefs about how education ought to be done. To suggest that any national standard of education is going to not only please all of those people, but prove to be successful in such a wide variety of circumstances for some 330 million people. We've tried this with a radically increasing federal education budget over the course of the last 30 years, and what we've got is failing public schools all over the United States, except in specific local areas where there have been attempts to take back control locally. I'd love to see more localization, and frankly, I'm quite pleased that if COVID had one decent effect, it was more people taking their kids out of the public schools.
Okay,
Just wanted to basically go on that, is that once again, I think on this question here is, what are your thoughts on school choice? I think Ben won this debate again, clear and simply, by putting forth 6 cent points. All Ana said basically is, hey, Finland's got a great model. It's the best in the world. You know what? We got to get rid of private schooling, put in public schooling, put in Finlanding. That's it. No other statistics, nothing else. Ben comes back and basically says what I was saying. We've got such a diverse population, such diversity, huge expanse of land. I mean, obviously in our geographic, boundaries, how are we going to have a one system, fits all? It's just not going to work. And then talking about the money that we spent trillions of dollars on education. And the teachers union, one of the most powerful unions in government, has basically held us for hostage in terms of, assessing to their demands, more pay, more benefits, more whatever it is. And in return, we've gotten absolutely nothing for it. Our kids can't write at their grade levels. They can't do mathematics at their grade levels. They can't talk at their grade levels. I mean, it's just an unbelievable it's an unbelievable situation with public schooling, and we know that. Now, there are some localities where the zip codes are where, there's high income, and those public schools are good. They attract the good teachers, but those are far and few between. You go in the inner cities, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to get teachers inside there. Teachers will come in there. Poor teaching skills, poor teachers that get there. Pay may not be as great. Kids don't really care. Education isn't stressed on by the communities inside there. Let's just face that. And then give you an idea, in Washington, D.C., I think they said they spent like somewhere between 20 to 23,000, last I heard, per child in Washington, D.C. school districts and public school districts. It's just not even close, folks. Not even close. We spend thousands and we're getting very little in return. But when we do vouchers, these parents in these inner cities, minority parents, parents that can't afford to send their kids to private schools, they are signing up as quickly as possible to get those vouchers so that they can send their kids to these private institutions, to private schooling. We've seen it works, but you know what? They don't want that to happen, because when they see the privatization of schooling works, scores increase, kids stay in school, they get a better education, it hurts. It hurts their dogma. It hurts their mantra that public schools are the best. And you can tell that those people that have money, those are the elites, those people in Washington, D.C., those congressmen and senators, whatever, for the majority of the part, they are sending their kids to private schooling. Let's continue on with the debate.
We got 2 minutes, and so before I get in trouble, so let's go real quick. And this might not be a quick one, but so we've had this discussion in this country, and a member of Congress has called for, and many others have, universal basic income. And her comment was, we should institute a basic universal income for those unwilling to work.
Nancy
Would that be
Pelosi.
supported in this country?
Would that be supported?
Yeah.
I think on a broad level, the answer is no. Although I think that as time goes on and people become more dependent on government, then the answer is probably getting closer to yes. Should it be supported in this country that people who are unwilling to work should be paid not to work? Absolutely not. I don't see why the government should be incentivizing people who don't want to work and have no excuse not to work.
Look, this is an opinion. I have a different view of humanity, and I think most people want to live lives with purpose. So I think most people do, in fact, want to work. For me, universal basic income is not the end-all, be-all of dealing with the economic issues that people are having. I know that there's been a lot of focus on that because of Andrew Yang and his presidential run and his, demand that people get at least $1,000 a month. I don't think that that's going to solve the issues. I think that we have deeper problems that we need to deal with, and just throwing money at something in the form of a universal basic income is not going to solve that issue. But if we decide, okay, maybe we're going to experiment with this on top of providing a much more robust social safety net, then maybe we're having a conversation. But to me, the issue of UBI is less interesting.
Okay, final question. We're almost at.
So, but I think basically pretty much of a draw. Again, it's an opinion. It is a part of policy, as Ana brought forth, that this was from Andrew Yang. And when his, failed pretty much, from the very start, presidential run, that was just a joke. He was talking about all this thing that, truckers within the next 5 to 10 years, there's not going to be any more truckers. We're going to be doing things differently. We're going to be shipping differently. I don't know what it was just so, whatever he was talking about, at that time. So we're going to have to come up with different ways. People aren't going to be able to work. Automation is going to occur. And that's probably, that's true to an extent. We're seeing that right now, where machines and other things have taken the place of human intervention or human jobs, obviously. And the question just has to be asked is, are we going to do another transfer of wealth from those who have it, those who make it, to those who don't and those that don't want to? Like you said, pay you $1,000 a month or whatever amount they decide because you don't want to work. You just want to basically veg out, do nothing else, I don't think that's ever going to fly. But in certain areas of the country, certain jurisdictions, certain localities, like out in California, San Francisco, and some of these other places, I think you're going to start to see this thing. If not, it's already been occurring. I mean, listen, we give enough transfer of wealth through Social Security, through Medicare, through all these other benefits. You know what I'm talking, welfare and whatever. Obviously, they decide to slap on a UBI tax of some kind or UBI, policy. Hey, listen, vote, elections have consequences. If the people that you vote in decide to take the money out of your pocket to give it to people that don't want to do anything, hey, you voted for it, you get stuck with it. Unfortunately, what's going to happen if it starts to get traction at the federal level, that means some states are going to be, subsidizing this type of behavior in other states and for other people. And I just think that's wrong. I don't, UBI, no, we have enough social safety nets that are out there. For me, UBI down. As far as for school choice, I'm for absolute school choice, whatever it is, vouchers, private, you want to send to public, that's fine. You want to homeschool, that's another great choice. So in this thing here, I think Ben won the question on school choice, and on this question of universal basic income, pretty much a draw. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. Love for you to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, follow us. You know what to do. Comment below. Let us know what you think. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.